Preparing for your F1 visa interview can feel scary and confusing. You know what the visa will do for you, but at the same time, you know you can be denied. For me personally, I do not think the F1 visa interview is difficult. If you prepare yourself very well, especially mentally, you will be fine. This video is going to provide you with all the mental preparations you need to pass your F1 visa interview. To give you a little background about myself, I first applied for the F1 visa in 2016, and it was a fairly easy process for me. The visa was valid for 2 years to do my master's in applied economics. When I finished my master's in applied economics, I decided to do another master's in IT. So in 2019, my visa had expired and I decided to go to Ghana to renew it. There were people who said it's dangerous because I was doing a second master's degree and my visa had expired. But my I-20 had always been active, and so I wasn't even bothered about going to Ghana. When I went for the visa interview in Ghana, it was actually one of the easiest interviews anyone can ask for. My first two answers, I think, were just enough. And so the rest of the interview was just a chat between the consular and I, about studies in the US and all of that. Because the second master's degree was not related to my background, the school gave me a partial funding, and so I went for the interview with a bank statement. The visa officer didn't even bother asking me about my funding. I believe that under the right circumstance, every applicant will be approved. However, the right circumstance is not easy for everyone. If you are new here, my name is Shaibu and I make videos about how to study abroad, how to pass your visa interview, and how to navigate life in a foreign country. Consider subscribing to the channel so that you don't miss any of my future videos. So let's assume that you have all the required documents and all the additional documents for your visa interview. The following 7 tips will help you prepare mentally for the visa interview. The first point is to research and understand the visa interview process. Now this is how it works. On the day of your appointment, you will go to the embassy, and then at the main entrance you see security personnel there. You are likely to see a queue and all of that. And so when it gets to your turn, they will look at your appointment page to make sure you actually have an appointment at the embassy. If you do, they will let you go inside, and it's going to be a long queue because everyone wants to come to America. So you have to be in the queue until it's your turn. When it's your turn, I think a bell will ring, to alert you that you are the next person. So once you hear the bell ring, all you have to do is to go to the window. The window is more like a transparent glass where you can see the visa officer. The visa officer can see you. On your part, you have to pay attention to whatever the visa officer is going to say. So you have to listen attentively, because it will be rude for you to keep saying sorry or excuse me or please can you repeat that. It doesn't really help. You have to make sure, you can do it once or twice, but if you do it frequently, your visa will be denied because it gets annoying. The other thing is to familiarize yourself with the questions and the answers. I've made videos on questions and sample answers, so you can take them and then make them your own. Knowing what to expect can help alleviate anxiety. The second thing is to practice mock interviews. Once you have all the questions and sample answers, you need to have a mock interview with a friend or family member who can simulate the role of a visa officer. This can be difficult and actually look weird, but it is very important. Also, you can ask yourself some of the visa interview questions and answer them to yourself until they become second nature. The goal is to appear prepared and not as someone who is giving memorized answers. If you do this more often, if you keep answering questions, to yourself, you'll become more comfortable answering those questions and you will improve your confidence. The next thing is to understand that everything is possible. I am confident that the questions that you'll be asked at the interview are similar to what I've already answered in my videos. However, you need to understand that things may not always go according to plan. When you are asked the difficult questions, just remember that the visa officer doesn't hate you. He or she is trained to make sure you deserve the visa. So your job is to prove that you are a legitimate student, you have sufficient funds to fund your studies, and that you are willing to return home after your studies. So no matter the question you are asked, you always have to remember these 3 points and you will be fine. So don't worry, just remind yourself why you are applying for the F1 visa and keep those reasons as your motivation. The next thing is to visualize your success. So it is important to visualize your visa being approved. You are good enough, and that is why the school gave you admission and issued your I-20 to you. So never doubt yourself. I believe in visualization. If keep imagining something happening for you, there is a good chance that it will happen. So spend some time visualizing yourself successfully completing the interview and getting your F1 visa approved. This positive visualization can help boost your confidence and also help reduce anxiety. The next thing is to stay calm and composed. I like to meditate a lot, focusing on my breath. Whenever I'm under so much pressure or when I'm angry, all I have to do is just breathe in and breathe out, and I'm okay after that. So on the day of the interview, try to stay calm and composed. Take deep breath and remind yourself that you have prepared yourself well. Avoid rushing and panicking, as this can actually affect your performance. When I'm recording these videos, sometimes I get worried about my voice, I get worried about whether I'm saying things well and all of that. And sometimes I just take deep breath and, I'm okay after that and I just keep going. So on the day of your interview, when you get tense, when you feel pressure, when you are worried, when you are anxious, just take deep breath. While you are waiting for your turn, just try to take deep breath. You breathe in for a few seconds and then you breathe out. It helps a lot, because on the day of the interview, you will hear people have been denied. You see people who have been denied and you see their facial expressions and all of that. It doesn't mean it's going to apply to you. Just take deep breath, calm down, and then go for your visa. You are different from everybody else. That's how you should think, and that should give you confidence. Now, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, and also like the video and share the video with your friends. Now, the next point is to dress appropriately. Dressing professionally and presenting yourself in a neat and tidy manner is really important. I am not saying you should wear a suit, that kind of, but I expect you to dress well like a student. If you have no funding at all, your dressing can convince the visa officer that you can fund your studies. The other thing about dressing is that if you are well dressed, it can actually boost your confidence. So on the day of the interview, dress like a victor. Finally, it is important to stay positive and confident, and you have to believe in your abilities to get a visa. You have to believe that you're good enough. So you need to answer every question with confidence. This is extremely important. The visa officer must have no doubt about your answers. You should speak clearly and confidently to show that you have genuine interest to study in the US. People lie all the time at the visa interview, but so long as they are confident in their answers, they are still approved. Remember that the mental preparation is just as important as the physical preparation. And by following the tips that I've given you, you can increase your confidence and prepare very well for your visa interview. Do well to watch the videos that you see on the screen. They can actually make a big difference to your success. I wish you the best of luck, and I will see you again in my next video.